Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons and the Theros book, the Mythic Odysseys of Theros. Alright, so it is my opinion that this book should not exist. This book exists for probably one reason only, and that is like a number of suits at Hasbro Gaming. And they read some business books, and it said, synergy, right? And they're like, okay, hey, so we own Magic the Gathering, and we got some schmucks writing mediocre fantasy settings. And we got some schmucks over at Dungeons & Dragons also writing some mediocre fantasy settings. Why are we paying two sets of people for this? And if it were left up to those suits, I guarantee you there'd be one set of people writing that stuff. And frankly, I think we very well may be on the path to that, right? So there is a little bit of good news in all this. I thought when the Ravnica book came out, I thought there was a good chance that the Dungeons & Dragons settings would die completely. And that, so I was very glad to see the Baldur Descent into Avernus book. Because I thought when the Ravnica book came, I was like, that's it. That's all she wrote, baby. You ain't going to get any more Dungeons & Dragons setting books anymore. It's just going to be MTG setting books, right? And the thing is, to understand these MTG D&D books, they make a ton of sense from a money perspective for Hasbro Gaming. They're like, it's reality TV show. That's what it is. So they can use the art from the MTG books. They did that with Ravnica. They used a ton of art. I think all the art was from the card game. They used all the writing from the MTG card game, and they took very little risk. It was like a straight conversion. They didn't even do any new real cool magic stuff. There wasn't for instance, Magic the Gathering, actually you draw your magic from swamps and mountains and plains and islands and swamp, mountain, plain, islands, forest, right? And you draw this from the land. If you're closer to a forest, if you're more closer to two areas of forest than you are a swamp, you might have more forest magic. They didn't incorporate any of that into Dungeons and Dragons. It was frankly, I think it was kind of lazy. It really felt like, I don't watch reality television shows, and the reason why is, to me, they're for suckers. They're for suckers. Scripted television's where it's at. The people who make scripted television care about it. The people who are on scripted television have, trained to be actors, right? Reality TV shows are just bad. And that's what these MTG D&D books are. They're just bad. They are, and I don't have any qualms saying that, because they are taking the place of better settings. Now, frankly, the reality is Dungeons & Dragons is still struggling to put out a perfect setting or even a good setting, right? Dungeons & Dragons, the setting issue with Dungeons & Dragons is bad. Dungeons & Dragons has never mastered setting. It has mastered rules, and it has mastered community, and it has mastered platform. It has done so well under streaming, it's amazing, right? And in some ways also, it's also in some ways mastered materials, dice and books, and they've done incredible jobs on all these platforms. Setting, they have never mastered. I still feel by far setting is the worst part of the game, and this makes it even worse, right? But it also brings up a good point from those suits. They're like, who cares about Greyhawk and Faerun? These are rehashed loader, this is rehashed loader, and they're right, Greyhawk and Faerun are truly refried loader. That's exactly what it is, right? So they have a good point. The suits at Hasbro Gaming, they're right. Why not just bring Dominaria in and be done with it, right? And I think they may end up getting there. That's the issue, right? But this Theros book, this is not a good thing. So what's really fascinating about this Theros book, though, is it actually has two audiences who will buy it. I'm fascinated by this. It actually has two audiences that will buy it. One is not surprising. The other one is very surprising. And you have to think about it to get the second one. All right, the first one is the undiscerning Dungeons & Dragons player and game master. There's a lot of them, okay? There's new people who just started, right? They don't even know what Theros is. They don't know what Dungeons & Dragons settings are. They don't know that Theros is an MTG setting, and they don't know that Theros isn't a Dungeons & Dragons setting, right? So there's going to be brand new game masters and players who pick this up, unbeknownst of what it is or is not, right? And guess what? There's a lot of them. Guess why? Because of Matt Mercer. Matt Mercer is crushing it on streaming and bringing in lots of new players. And many of them don't know Faerun from Rokugan, from I'm drawing a blank on from Middle Earth, or some other or Anduin, or any other or Joe Abercrombie's fantasy world, or a fantasy world done by Ursula K. Le Guin, or the Dragons of Pern. I guess that maybe that one's science fiction, but the point is, like, they just don't know any better. So there's going to be a lot of non-discerning game masters and players, and that is a distinct market. It's a very distinct market. Okay, now this next one is absolutely fascinating. Listen to this second group of people who are going to buy this book. This blows my mind. Streamers, streamer game masters, and streamer players. There are thousands of them. There have to easily be 10 to 50,000 streaming dungeon masters and Dungeon and Dragon players. Maybe 100K, right? Easily, maybe much higher, right? And they're all going to buy this book, right? And the reason why is those people, a lot of people who stream, they don't run their own games. They really don't, right? And guess what? Matt Mercer don't even run his own game anymore. He runs an official Dungeons and Dragons setting. It's called the Wild Mount. Look, boy, that's recursion, right? You run your own game. Now you just run an official. You run just standard pre-gen crap that comes out from. I shouldn't say crap. They make some good adventure books. I shouldn't say that. But now you just run standard pre-gen stuff that Wizards of the Coast, publishes. Whatever. Boy, that's Ouroboros, right? Wow. All right. So that's my point. But the point is, if you're a streamer, right, you want clicks. You want people to watch your game, right? So basically, streamers run pre-gen stuff. And the reason why is pre-gen stuff gets clicks, right? Like Thunder King's Mountain and Tomb of Annihilation and Sword Coast, the Sword Coast book, and all these just book after Baldur's Gate, Descent into Avernus, just adventure after adventure after adventure. They put this stuff on rails, right? Now, what really blows my mind is a lot of these streamers are incredibly talented. They should not be touching a pre-gen book. They don't need a pre-gen book, and they have better ideas than they had in their head than Chris Perkins is scrawling in a for mass market book, right? They don't need any of this stuff, right? But they're running it for the clicks, right? They're running it because they like people viewing their videos. They like to respond to fans. I get that, right? Like, I get it, right? And so, and that's the thing. Every streamer, like virtually every single streamer, game master and player will buy this just to run it, right? Or even just consider if they want to run it, or even to read it and give their review. I've done that. I have bought Wizards of the Coast Adventures just to read it and do the review. Boy, oh boy, like, that is incredible. So not only is streaming helping Wizards of the Coast to spread the game by people seeing it and then wanting to play it, but it's literally selling the books, right? And Theros, and so I predict there's going to be a lot of these MTG D&D books, and the reason why is they're so easy for them to make. They can just kind of chuck them up. Ugh, there it is. There's your book, right? You don't have to do new art. You don't have to write the setting. It's just some layout. Slap it up. Don't do anything innovative with the rules or anything really cool. right? Like anything risky, right? Like, here's your book, buy it. And streamers will. And the reason why is the streamers, they want that fresh, right? They want that new content. And frankly, it don't even have to be good for them, right? They can just complain about it, right? Like, it's all content to them, right? And there are thousands of them. And I'm just absolutely fascinated by this new revenue stream of Dungeons & Dragons, which is the streamers buying the books just to stream them, and also the game really shifting into this mode of pre-gens being really dominant, and less game masters running their own stuff, and more players just getting on those rail trains, on those train rails, of pre-gen material. It's a little sad-making to me. I definitely do not think that the Mythic Odysseys of Theros should exist. It displaced Planescape. It displaced Rokugan. Any of these books would have been better. A setting book for Rokugan, a setting book for Anduin, a setting book for Dark Sun, a setting book for... I don't want Spelljammer, but I know a lot of people do. So it displaced the Spelljammer book. It also displaced a lot of other homebrew stuff. If you're going to do Matt Mercer's homebrew, there's a lot of other talented homebrewers out there, right? So why not make more official homebrew stuff? So to bring a Magic the Gathering setting over that absolutely no one asked for. Magic players aren't asking for this. D&D players aren't asking for this at the macro level. And to bring this over, it's sad making, and it's a little frustrating. All that's my opinion. Do you think I'm wrong? Let me know in the comments below. I'm more than willing to hear you out. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.